to Voices in Care. I'm going to be your host today, Mattison Logsdon, and I'm joined by Blessing's very own lactation consultant, Miss Tina Womack. So would you introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background on your history in healthcare, and tell us your credentials, stuff like that.
Well, my name's Tina Womack. I have been a nurse for about 31 years. A big portion of that time has been spent in the outpatient pediatric setting, being a pediatric nurse. I've also worked as a nursery and postpartum nurse, and most recently, over the last couple of years, have become the lactation consultant at Blessing. I just have a real passion for working with children and parents, not just moms, but parents, moms, dads, and this is just a career that I've just loved. So,
yeah, you also kind of run our baby steps with a couple other amazing individuals. But our baby steps, also give us a little bit of background on what the small group baby steps is.
So baby steps, we used to have a breastfeeding group and a postpartum group, and we kind of took those two and combined them together. So it's not just about feeding; it's about taking care of moms and with their mental health, in that postpartum time when things are really tough, and just actually helping them just navigate life, feeding babies, no matter how you're feeding your baby, whether you're breastfeeding, whether you're bottle feeding, and just helping them just navigate that time and just giving them support and just helping, them, find their own strength.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and kick off this podcast by saying, so Miss Tina here, like she said, is a lactation consultant, runs our Baby Steps postpartum group and all things. And that's kind of what sparked this conversation. I'm a soon-to-be mother, expecting in less than a month. And it got me thinking of okay, I'm heading into sixth season with a fresh newborn, but it's also holiday season. So there's a lot of questions I have to ask you on how to navigate all of that. So let's start with some basics. Okay, the first one is just simply, what is sixth season? We throw that term around. What does it mean in your world?
So sixth season, how I would probably explain it is it's the time of year when germs are at their highest and they're being shared, more. We're not outside as much, so most gatherings are happening inside. So obviously the smaller spaces, these germs are floating around and they're actually being shared more than, when you're outside during the summertime and you're doing outside activities. Sixth season would probably be any time between, I would say, November and probably March would be the highest portion of that sixth season. But within that are big holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, so those are the times when it seems like those germs are being shared the most.
And so say for the new moms or the recent first-time moms, what are some everyday things throughout this sixth season that they can do to minimize babies' exposure, minimize, any illness?
So first and foremost, good hand washing. That's for anyone. But also, limiting your time where you're going to be around sick people or times out in the community. I even tell a lot of moms, maybe use grocery store time as your time to do something by yourself. Leave baby at home with dad or with grandma or someone like that. Because, when we're going to Walmart or when we're going to Target, there are a lot of things that we're touching and, and then let's say baby's even in the car seat, in the cart, but pacifier falls out or whatever, you put that pacifier back in their mouth. There's something that you probably have touched on the cart, maybe introducing germs that way too. So I usually just say, avoid taking them out, if you can. That I know that's not always possible, but, especially during sixth season, if you're having baby's in the car seat or whatever, kind of keep that covered, with a light covering. People like to look at babies. And it's hard, when people are, wanting to come up, take a look at your baby. It's, people don't want, we don't want to be rude, but we also want to protect our babies. And that's one of the things that we hand out at our Baby Steps group is this little thing that goes on your car seat that says, stop, don't touch me, your germs are too big for me. Don't be afraid. to let people know that, you're really trying to protect your baby, and if they can just keep their distance, that'd be great.
Absolutely. And that's something that, like, we think about even as grown adults, what's the difference between just like a light cough, a light, sniffle? When is it necessary to take baby in to see a provider versus just, okay, let's ride out this cold, let's make sure it's just stuff's going around, those things that we like to throw out there, but then it can turn pretty serious pretty fast for a fresh babe. So when should we take them into the provider?
So generally, if we have a baby that's less than 2 months of age, and they truly have a temperature, you're definitely going to want that baby to be seen by the provider. Most of the time, past that 2 months of age, if they have a low-grade temp, just kind of keeping an eye on that, maybe for a day or two. But if it doesn't improve, then calling your provider, talking to one of the nurses, just kind of telling them what's going on, and they will guide you as to whether they feel like maybe you can wait a little bit longer, or maybe we need to see that baby right now. Viruses probably cause temperatures that are a little higher than most bacterial infections too. But it's just, if your baby's not eating, they're really fussy, you just can't, console them, that's a time when you really do need to call the provider and see about getting an appointment to get them checked out.
You've given us some great insight into how to keep babies safe during sick season. But like we mentioned earlier, it also collides with holiday season.
Yes.
So what are some tips and tricks you have for those new moms, or even, some of the veteran moms that have a 1-year-old or have babies that are prone to sickness? Like, what are some tips and tricks you can have when heading into holiday season, how to protect baby and even mom?
First and foremost, it is okay to say no. I know that's hard, and especially in the holiday season when you want to be around family and you want people to see, your baby. But it is okay to say no, or keep those visits short. For younger babies that, are still small enough to be held in your arms, even baby wearing, with the baby wraps, there's so many of those. Or make it known to your family and friends beforehand that, we're going to come and we want to be there, but we also want to make sure that we protect baby from a lot of big germs that are floating around. So while we're there, we just want you guys to know that we're not going to be passing baby around. We'd like for it to be, just myself or dad or whoever to hold the baby during that time. We want you to see them, but we also want to protect them as much as we can. That I would tell people, let's don't keep them in the car seat, because that's not good either for them to sit in a car seat for, long periods of time. But, and keep your visits short if you can. At least you get to go and be there and be a part, but, maybe, keeping people away from baby as, keep them at their distance. They can see baby, but we just need you to, kind of give us a little bit of that distance.
That's some of the conversation that my husband and I have had to have leading up to baby, knowing that we're having a baby in the heart of sick season, in the heart of holiday season. We've had a lot of back and forth conversations with each other, with our provider, and trying to navigate how we plan to do things. Of course, things can always change. But one thing I've tried communicating with my husband too, or our provider has mentioned, is spouses play a very large role in that side of things. So to those spouses, you mentioned even with baby steps is a big part of what you guys are transitioning into. What would you teach the spouse, the partner, and how to help both baby but also mom? Mom's going through a lot during that time too. So what's some advice that you would give the spouse?
So making sure that, first of all, you are communicating, you are talking, and that, both of you, because the spouse has, feelings too, and, they have things that they're going through. This is a new, thing that they're trying to navigate also, especially new dads or new partners. But just making sure that, first of all, you're communicating. Second of all, that that if it's your family, your side of the family, that you're going to, that you be the voice for your spouse. Let's say you're going to your husband's family's, Christmas or whatever, that your husband be the one that talks with his family about what your wants and needs are as a couple, not just, well, this is what Mattison wants, this is what we want, this is what we would like to see happen, and just making sure that you guys are supporting each other and that you're on the kind of on the same page, because when you're not, then that can cause conflict. And when we have parents that come to baby steps, we love it when partners come, dads come, even grandmas come, sisters come. We just love seeing those support systems that the moms have too. So we want to support them too. We've found that 1 in every 5 women will have some postpartum depression, and 1 in every 10 dads actually experience that too. So it's not, it's a change. It's a big life change. Your life is completely different than what it was prior to, this baby coming into your lives. So we just want you to know that we are there to support you as a family unit, not just the mom.
That's great. That's awesome. I think it's really important, and I've stepped into baby steps a couple of times just to see the magic that goes on in there, and it really draws in, every aspect of the family, and I think what you guys do is incredible, so I can't wait for my husband and I to be able to go to those. Right. So we're going to break it up a little bit now. We've talked about some serious stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit more lighthearted, fun stuff. Okay. We mentioned some common misconceptions or some myths versus facts. Okay. One that we had talked about is a lot of people think you can't breastfeed if you're sick. Right. Okay, so what's your take?
So, yes, you definitely can breastfeed while you're sick. It's actually good for you, and it's also still good for your baby. Baby is getting so many great things from mom, the immune properties, all kinds of great things. So definitely best to breastfeed while you're sick. Obviously, you do need to make sure that you're taking in plenty of fluids, getting plenty of rest. But yes, you still should breastfeed while you're sick, or even while baby's sick, because it's really good for both of you.
Okay. And another one would be babies shouldn't go outside when it's cold. I know a lot of moms get super lucky having their babies during the spring, summer, fall. They get to go outside, help postpartum depression, getting outside in the environment, all of that. But if baby is born in those winter months, can you still go outside with baby?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's probably good for you too. Get some fresh air. Growing up, I know everybody was like, oh, don't go outside, you're going to get pneumonia, whatever. That's, pneumonia is not caused by the cold air. It's caused by germs. And so it is really good for babies still to be able to get outside, get some fresh air. Obviously, you want to keep them warm, have them wrapped up well, even baby wearing them, go outside for short periods of time. It's completely a myth that they should not be outside during the cold months.
All right, and then to kind of wrap this all up, to kind of tie everything together, I have a couple quick questions for you. Answer however you feel, but they're directed towards these first-time moms and babies. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm very intimidated. I'm very excited, but I'm very intimidated by the idea of becoming a new mom. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments being made. So for moms out there like me that are excited but intimidated because they know their whole world is getting flipped upside down for the better, what's some advice that you would give in trusting ourselves? Because we're going to figure it out, and I know that, but looking to what I have yet to come is intimidating.
Something that I say a lot to new parents is babies don't come with a manual. They don't come with a USB plug where you can plug them in and analyze them to figure out what's going on. You just need to trust yourself. Baby's going to, let you know, you're going to go through the steps. Okay, they're crying. Are they hungry? Do they have a wet diaper or a dirty diaper? Are they cold? Are they too hot? You're going to go through those things, and, you're going to figure out what your baby's need is. Maybe they just need to come in and be held close and just be snuggled for a bit. But just trust yourself and know that you are enough. That's one of the biggest things. New parents feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. You're doing enough, and you are enough. And while you're navigating this new time, make sure that your other things outside of taking care of baby right now are limited. I do want you to do other things obviously outside of that, but make sure that you limit those, because this is an exhausting time. You're awake a lot. Sometimes baby gets overstimulated. We talk about, even the holidays and passing babies around, and you take them home, and now they've been way overstimulated and they don't know how to deal with that. And so now you're dealing with a fussy baby, a lot of the night. But, just know that, first of all, that you are enough. And if you do have questions, reach out to either your provider or come see us at Baby Steps. The great thing about our Baby Steps group is I have two other people that I work with this, Shannon Zanger and Chloe Gay. Shannon has been in women's health for a lot of years. She actually has some perinatal mental health certification too, so she's very good at helping moms navigate this time. We kind of joke about this because she almost always takes care of the moms. I take care of things that are baby related. We're kind of a good group. And then Chloe, she is one of our doulas and a care coordinator. And Chloe is just great at just engaging moms and going around and making them feel comfortable and, telling them, listen, you're enough. You're doing what you're doing is enough, and just believe in yourself. So our group is just, I cannot say enough great things about our Baby Steps group. I want everyone to come and join. So
neither can the community.
Right.
The community adores Baby Steps, and I'm excited to join it myself.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah. Heading into the 6th season, what's advice that you could give any parents heading into the season of holidays, into sickness, into all the things? What's some advice that you can give them to maybe ease their mind about heading into that season? Because I know I was super anxious about it. I've talked a ton with my providers, with you, just, some quick, easy advice that they can hold on to.
Yeah. First of all, just communication, making sure that your family knows ahead of time, like this, I'm very worried about, sick season and my baby, or any of my kids, getting sick, because we have new babies that have siblings at home too that, they're going to school, the siblings are, and they're, bringing home germs. So there's a lot of anxiety around that, but, just making sure good hand washing. If your child is showing any signs or symptoms, your older child, any signs or symptoms of sickness, making sure that they know this is right now, we need you to just, keep your distance from baby. But just really just communication, good hand washing, good communication, and, being there as a support for each other, and just to help navigate through those holidays.
Awesome. Well, Tina, I have nothing else for you. So I greatly appreciate all of your advice, all your insights. I know that I'm not the only soon-to-be mama out there that has all these questions. But if anybody does have further questions, when does Baby Steps meet?
So Baby Steps meets from 9 to 11 on Monday mornings, and from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. We meet at the Quincy Public Library. I always like people to know it's not a come at 9, stay till 11, or come at 4:30, stay till 6:30. It's just a come and go. Like, come whenever, if you come at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's fine. It's not, you don't have to come and stay. We don't necessarily have an agenda that we follow each week or any specific topic that we talk about, but it's a great place to come and weigh baby, do weight checks on baby. We do a pre-feed weight and a post-feed weight, so we can actually see exactly how much milk baby is taking at the breast if they're breastfeeding. But again, it's also not just for breastfeeding. And I have moms that exclusively pump and feed. I have moms that feed formula, and I have moms that do a lot of combination of a lot of that too. So we would love to have anyone who wants to come join us.
There's also a Facebook group that
There
they
is.
can join for any of the information regarding baby steps, when you guys might meet, where you're meeting, all of that. So join Baby Steps
Absolutely.
on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, Tina, thanks for joining me on our
you for
Voices
having
of Care podcast. And